Pow! Thank you for coming back. Ansible was born into the Linux world and quickly spread from there into the networking world, and us network administrators picked up on it pretty quick. But this episode, we pay tribute, we pay homage to Linux, which had a birthday the other day. So happy Linux birthday! By learning some very, very basic Ansible commands for Linux that will help in our open network automation quest. So let's kick on with this very interesting lesson. Some of you may think Linux isn't what I do. I'm a network engineer. I do this lot of Cisco CLI stuff. But I think what you will see over the next few years is you will see more Linux start to shine through. If you are exposed to Cumulus Linux, you'll be already seeing this. But you're about to see Juniper do a lot more in the Linux space. And so get some basic skills is where I'm trying to go. Do you love pie? If I can move my head, do you love pie? And I don't mean chocolate pie or in Australia meat pie. I mean raspberry pie. Everyone loves raspberry pie. Do yourself, not do for self. Do yourself a favor and buy some Raspberry Pis. These cost roughly $50 Oz, and they will last you a few years, maybe even longer than that. I think I've had my Pi 1 since I think 2014. I can't remember. It's old. It's still doing some syslog type of function. They're based on ARMS architecture and offer a truly immersive Linux admin experience. And what I mean by that is, if you can manage a Pi, or a cluster of Pis, or a suite of Pis, a fleet of Pis, a baker's dozen of Pis, there's no difference to managing RHEL in the data center, just running on someone else's metal, costing a lot of money, turning power to heat. This is a great way to get yourself into the world of Linux. It's very low cost. And they just are a Swiss Army knife. Once you've done some Linux work, you might set them up to be a Cacti server, some type of netbox server. They just got so many different uses. And if you just treat them as ephemeral, so you just trash them, you install a new image over the top, Bob's your uncle. You can have some really cool, fun experiences that do lend themselves to a professional career and some really cool workplace scenarios. So get some pies. So what are we going to try and do in this particular episode, which is Season 7, Episode 1? We're going to try and keep it kind of brief. We're going to, and you'll see in the orange, or orange as they say in France, we're going to understand how to copy files to and from Linux infrastructure, copy module. We're going to understand how to delete files, file module. And we're going to understand how to fetch something. So we're going to take a file that's on a remote server, and we're going to pull it back to our Pop! OS Linux box. Everything is up on GitHub. Well, it's not yet because I haven't made it. But by the time you watch this, it'll be all up on GitHub. Keep an eye out for an updated host var in the inventory. New Pi, what Raspberry Pi 02, and there's going to be some updated plays. We're going to be able to smash out 3 plays pretty quick. So keep an eye out. Go check it out now, but we are going to walk through them. But if you do check it out, obviously press pause. So what we've got is, thanks to Ron, you done messed up, Ron, for giving me my Pi back. It was being used as a serial console box. That's another great thing for a Pi. It was providing out-of-band access, so a guy overseas could spin up some Juniper EXs. It was just a Pi with a handful of serial console cables, so he could connect from Greece for a project I was working on. So thank you, Aaron, for giving me my Pi back. What we've got here is we've updated the host files file for what CPE. Why have I highlighted that? It's actually what Raspberry Pi 02. Proofing. And all you're going to see is it's pretty much the same as what RPi 01, which we've had the whole series. It's just got a different IP address. That's it. And it's been updated in the inventory file itself. This is in Git, so please check it out. If you're following along with a similar type of lab, just copy and paste that, or just download it via Git. So what I will talk about quickly, because we're going to go through, I'm going to show you the play, then we're going to type it in. Then we've got 3 to do today. So the first one is, if you can think of this as the changelog, if you subscribe to This Week in Google, where they go through the changelog, we're going to use the copy module. So we're going to push a file. Now notice the to and from when I'm talking here. We are going to push a file from my Pop! OS Linux box to the respective Raspberry Pis. So we're playing this. This is against the Linux's local file, remote destination of where I want this file, including the file name, because we could change the name in flight. Again, my head does not need to be this big, but again, knowing how to read the modules page is really key to knowing Ansible and knowing it well. All you really need to know is how to interpret a module, which you can get from the modules file or modules page on Ansible, and you can really leverage that to progress your automation. You don't need to be a master of all these things, just know how they can be applied. Knowing when, okay, that's something you're going to pick up with experience. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this here, we're going to implement it so you can see how this is applicable. So over to, where did I lose my little VMware box? There. As I said, my head is rather large. It can off you must, as my friend Jacoby would say. So let's log in. Yes, it's 8:30 at night. I am missing the football. However, I don't know who's playing. I think it's Canberra, the Raiders, and the Roosters of Sydney City tonight. So I don't like either. I don't mind Canberra. Oh, Sonny Bill Williams is playing, so I may actually hurry this up and go and watch it. So we are in our typical path. Forgive that there. So Ansible. This is where we've been putting all the plays. So what we're going to do is we're going to quickly just create a new file. Now I'm in Visual Studio Code. You notice I left Sublime behind. Great stuff. Thank you, Dave Reeling, for putting me onto this. So let's first of all, we're going to create our first play. This is indeed a YAML file. It needs a name. We can't say fetch a pail of water because this is not the fetch module. This is, I have an itchy nose because I had a shave. We are going to copy module, push a file from my Pop! OS to what are Pi 01 and 02. Excellent, we have a name. Who are we playing? It's like we're playing a sport. Who is this against? The host. This is against Linux's. Now Linux's now consists of 2 hosts. What are Pi 01? What are Pi 02? Again, thank you, Aaron. Gather facts. No, we do not wish to gather facts. The connection is local, which we could leave that out. Become. Now I'm setting become yes, and there is a reason, because we are going to be executing this as someone else. So we need to leave that in. Tasks. Our first play. Name. Play 1, which is, we want to copy a file that I haven't made yet, which we're going to have to make. Good point there, young one. Copy, we'll call it file1.txt to the Raspberry Pi. Now, next time you go and do this, make sure the file exists first. Now, to do this, we're going to use the copy module. Copy module has some sub-arguments, such as the source of the local file, which is, I'm going to create a file in a second, in the local path. File.txt, remember that, file.txt. The destination is a sub-argument also. You would think that if you can have a source, you're going to have a destination. And we're going to put this in, so home/sysadmin JB, that's been the account we've been using this whole time, if you can refer back to the trusty password. And we want to keep this as file1.txt. We're to the 10-minute mark already. I have rambled a little bit though for the entertainment purpose. Alrighty, that is this bad boy. Let's save it and give it a name. Save as. We're going to go, there's something I've done earlier, obviously. Ansible, plays, and we will call this play. That's one thing I hate about pop. See that there? I love everything else about pop. Play season 6 episode. We're not in season 6. We're in season 7, episode 1. .yaml. We will call it. Actually, there's going to be 3 plays if we can get around to it. We will call this one copy.yaml. Save. Excellent. Notice how Visual Studio Code knows this is a YAML file. This is really excellent. I really love that. And again, thank you, Mr. Reeling, who's taken stand-ins for showing me this. Dave's an American. I love picking his brain, especially on American politics. If you're an Aussie and you've got some American friends, talk to them about politics. It's fun watching them. Just they pick hard, face palm. Now, as we said, what's our working directory right now? We want to create in the plays folder, so cd plays. We said we're going to make file 1. So nano file1.txt. Remember, nano is our file editor. I could have just, I don't know why I didn't. This is a file created in nano. Because I could have used Visual Studio Code, it would have been 10 times quicker. Yes, file1.txt. It's there. Cat file1.txt, just to prove it's there. This is a file created in nano. Bazinga. Excellent. Clear or seller. Let's get back up to where we're calling our Ansible plays. Excellent. So here is the play. What we're going to do now is we're going to copy this to, via Ansible, what RPio1 and RPio2. So Ansible-playbook inventory, inv.yaml. That's where we've been having our inventory this whole series. I know there's been a little bit of a break. That's why I commentate and say that's where it is. And the path to the play, plays, and we just called this one play season 7, and it should be able to tab through the rest. I swear I said copy. Anyway, let's run this and let's see what happens. Again, that's one of the other beautiful things about Visual Studio Code. You can actually run a terminal. Excellent. We've got a receipt of works. It's reached. Sorry, I just had some butter chicken. It's reached out and it's created the files on the appropriate nodes. Let's prove this, and we could just do it by the command ssh sysadmin -jb at 100.61.0.115. Cisco 123 super trusty password. And let's, what's our working directory? What did we say? Home sysadmin gb file1.txt tree. Excellent, file1.txt is there. And let's cat the file out. Cat file1.txt. This is a file created in nano. Yes, y'all. That has successfully taken the file on my Pop OS and spat it out on the Pi. And this is the what RPio1. And let's just confirm that. LSB release. Should have done A. I'm having one of those days. See, it's Raspbian. That's the bad boy right there. The other one's got NeoFetch, so if we logged in, we would have seen that one. But NeoFetch, it's a bit of a time waster. When you log in, you're sitting there it's about 10 seconds for it to render. I digress. So that is that. You know what? I was going to do a few in one. It's at 15-minute mark. This one has been a bit random because I've had a bit of a break. I've also just had a coffee, so I'm pretty energetic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this one here, and we'll do season 7, episode 2, 3 really quickly. And all we've got to go on for those ones is we're going to take a gander, which is a look at the deleting a file using the file module. And after that, a really great one is the fetch module. But you know what? I'll just pause it here and I'll make a new one, and I'll see you on the flip side. Cheers all.